Hi everybody, thanks for joining Create with Dee. I'm Dee Slater, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be exploring tent cards. So it pops up like a table tent, and I'll show you some tips and tricks to make sure that they fit in your standard envelope. All right, let's get started making these tent cards. So today I have this cute tent card. A tent card is just that. When you think of like a table tent, like when you're sitting at a banquet or whatever, it kind of has just that, like a smaller little profile. But my tip here today will be to show you how to make sure that you are within the realm of our standard envelopes when you're making these tent cards. Tent cards always have like a little overlapping feature to it, and that's what we're going to be making here today. If you will and want to, please stop or stay tuned till the end, and I'll have a couple of other samples. Before we get started on today's project, at the time of the video, Stampin' Up! Is having a buy one, get one 50% off on all suite products, and actually all the suites themselves. So I'm showcasing some bits and pieces of products here today that you might be able to choose from the sale that they have going on through the end of June 2025. Also, I am having a June special, and even though I've misspelled this, I just noticed that a couple of days ago. But this month, when you place your $60 or more order with me online, I've got a special Christmas card class, a Christmas in July class, that I will be giving those that place an order with me 60 or more. And I'm really excited to share that with you. All right, let's get started making this tent card. For this card, I'm using a combination of products. I'm using the designer paper from Floral Delight. Again, that is a qualified suite sale item, as well as the Delightful Wishes bundle, the stamp set and dies. And then also I'm using the Arched, what is this officially called here? Everyday Arched dies. This is part of another suite, but I just love it as a standalone die set as well. So what we're going to need to make this tent card is I'm starting out with a piece of Lemon Lolly cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4, so that we have a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card base. Next, I'm going to take some of that Floral Delight designer paper. Let me get a nice crisp edge on here first. And I'll take my liquid glue, and I'm going to put this down. When I make the tent cards, what I like to do is look at what I think my focal point might be. If the focal point's busy, I do more of a neutral layering piece down here at the bottom, just so it's not quite so busy. All right, next I would use the designer paper and cut out some arches, and then use our Lemon Lolly to cut out the next size larger. And let's see here if I can share with you what those are. So I used the third largest arched die for the designer paper. Or no, that's the fourth. And then I used the third largest for this layering piece here. I thought that looked a good matting piece with that. So let's put a little liquid glue. We'll put these together here first. Kind of get all of our pieces and parts put together. Okay, let's do some quick stamping. And I've got some of the stamping already done. Let me get rid of the arches here, because I wanted to just focus mainly on our assembly of how to do the tent cards. Ahead of time, I've already stamped on one of the smaller arches a coordinating floral image from the stamp set, Delightful Wishes, as well as we're going to do that for the inside of the card. So I'm just going to show you how to do those, to do this floral look first here, and I'll speed up the video. Alrighty, so let's put this on the inside. Oops, this, I didn't mention this. This is a 4x4 piece of the designer paper. And then for the inside layer, this is a 4x4 piece of basic white. Put that in here. All right, so now what we want to do is put the tent topper part of this on here. But we want to make sure that it falls within our standard A2 envelope. So we don't want to make, you know, if it's too high up, it's not going to fit into a standard card base. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can get out your grid paper, your trimmer, but actually Tammy, my team member, she was the one that came up with this idea, and I thought this was perfect because we made a table tent at this month's team meeting, and I'll show you that at the end. What she said is, like, just take your envelope and stage it so that you know that the top of it's not going to exceed your envelope. So I thought that was brilliant. That way you don't have to get out any measurements. You just use the envelope that you're going to use. So I know I need to I want to glue just this bottom part of the arch so that it stays within the area of the envelope. So if you want to, you can just kind of keep your envelope right there. And then for this one, I just want to center it, kind of pull that down just a little bit. That looks pretty good. I think it's even. So now, when I put this in my card, my envelope, I know it will fit. So thank you, Tammy. That was an awesome tip. So much easier than the way that I was sharing it with our team. So ahead of time, what I did is I had one of the other smaller, you know, those arch labels just get nice and nested. So I stamped an image, that same floral image like what I did on the inside. I didn't think that you would want me to show that again. So we'll finish decorating this one. Okay, and then let's go ahead and pop this up with some dimensionals. Alrighty, so oops. So this is going to stay within the realm here, so I don't have to worry about just putting glue on one side or the other. Let's go ahead and we'll put 4 dimensionals on this arch. I love these arch shapes. I think they're super popular. They do go in and out of back order. So if they do happen to be on back order, just put your email in there and Stampin' Up! Will notify you when those are back in stock. All right. So if you wanted to, you know, you could put it however you want. I just thought it was kind of interesting to put it a little bit down. I just want that centered as well. Okay, oops, let's get it straightened up. Okay, ahead of time with those Delightful Wishes dies, there's the background here that says wishing on it that you can just die cut out and layer. So I've done that ahead of time. And I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on the back. So I'm going to kind of find where there's enough cardstock to put those on. And let's do one over here. There we go. You could go ahead and cut these in half and put one over there too if you wanted to. I'm just going to stop for the sake of the video on that. I have pecan pie as the background, and I have the lemon lolly as the wishing on here. And we're just going to put that right across the top. So the H is pretty much the center of the sentiment, so I'll just try to get that centered. That looks good. And then also part of that, that bundle, the die set, there's this nice little label. I'm going to go ahead and make these like some wishing you well, so like a little get well card perhaps. And got some old olive ink. And I'm just going to center this on the strip. Wishing you well. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. And let's go ahead and use 2 small mini dimensionals, or you can cut your other foam dots, other dimensionals in half. And we'll put those about right here in the center. That looks good. You can almost use, this has a little point, you can almost line it up with the dots on the outer edge of that, the larger one with the lemon lolly. And these little bead trinkets are so cute. They're part of this suite of products. Again, for the sale in the month of June at the time of this video, let's get these apart. You can either order one whole suite of products, or you can use the individual components within it. So if you just like paper, you can get like 1 pack of designer paper in one suite, and then get another pack of designer paper for half off, you know, etc. You can just mix and match. I'm gonna grab one of these glue dots for my bee on my take your pick tool, and then I kind of like swirl that around and get it little, and then I pick up one of the bees, and we'll put one over here. Oops. And then if the glue dot kind of gets out of hand, we'll just kind of do this again. I'll kind of fuss with that off camera here. So please do stick around. I want to show you some other design options. And then I'm also going to show you how you can do one going the other way. So, so that way you can mix and match. All right. So I would, like I said, I would keep fussing until the bees are all, or the glue dots are all hidden so that it looks more like that. On this one, I did white, and on this one, I did yellow. So don't know which one you might like the best, but I thought I would show you the 2 different options. Okay, let me show you some other, before we get started into the, like this is the 4 1/4. I'm also gonna show you a card that we can make using it the 5 1/2 inch way. But this is the card that we used, or that we made together at our team meeting. This uses the Celebratory Sips suite of products. And here you can see I did some matting. These are just cutouts from it. But here's how we did it with a square top on it. And then I made this other sample here using the boho. I love the boho vibes suite. So cute. And here I use, so this is the stylish shapes that I used for those. You don't have to use a die cut. You could just cut out rectangles or squares if you wanted to do this tent look. All right, so that's how you use the table tent, or the tent card, using the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 base. Now let's use a different layout. For this layout, we are changing orientations. I've got most of the work done here just for the sake of the video. But this way, instead of it being the 4 1/4, like this one, I started out with a 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 square. This is in Granny Apple Green, and I scored it halfway at 2 3/4. So, you know, that's a pretty standard table tent, right? To have that look like that, standing up. And on this card, what I'm using are products from the Lovely Garden suite. This is the one with the hydrangea and the cute little other flower on that. So this is Lovely Garden. And also, if you've taken my creative classes, you have this product. So this is another way that you can mix and match your some of your past products that you got from my classes and try something new with it. So ahead of time, I did the stamping with the hydrangea, and I used the colors of Pretty in Pink and Melon Mambo for that, and then Granny Apple Green and Garden Green for the leaves. There's a mask that comes with this stamp set. And this is one of the papers on it. I just thought it was nice and fun. All right, let's see here. So also this is part of the Thankful Garden bundle. So you make a difference, and I just stamped it on a 1/2-inch strip of basic white and angle cutted that. So the matting layers on this, so this is 2.5 by 5 1/4 and 2 1/4 by 5. And I also did the same matting on the inside for that. Thankful for you as a friend. So let's go ahead and we'll put this one together. So just like we did on the other one, grab your envelope that you're going to use for your tent card. And we just want to make sure that it falls within the envelope. So you don't want to, if you're going to mail it in the standard envelope, like you wouldn't want to put it up this far because you would need a larger envelope. So grab your envelope that you want to use so that you can stage it. And I'm going to actually pop this up. Isn't that such a pretty color combination? The pinks, the bright pinks and the greens. I think it is. So I'm going to put some dimensionals here. Oops. Get my angle off. I can't get everything on there. Let's just grab it. There we go. I don't want to go too high. I want to make sure I stay within that. I think I can go about right here on my last one. Let's go ahead and go that way and this way. Okay, alrighty. We'll take those off. Okay, so I'm gonna have this one off so that you don't think you always have to center them like on the 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card. We can, you know, offset it just a little bit. I'm gonna make sure it falls within that. Isn't that so cute? Look how pretty that is. I love it. I love it. And now I'm going to put the You Make a Difference here. I'm going to put a dimensional one just on the right side. And then I'm going to put a little adhesive here because I want it to be the same height. So I'll put a dimensional just on the right side and then some liquid glue on the other. And let's put it about right here. I think that looks good. So cute, very cute. Again, I'm just showing you ways of mixing and matching the different products from the different suite of products. As you can see, I've demolished this pack of Shades of Green Hexagon Gems. This is part of the Turtley Awesome suite of products. And I really liked the green tones on here. So let's put this on our card. So put some fun little green gems. Let's see, put some up here on the flowers, just wherever you want. And as you know, I like putting them on the inside too. Let's put some on the inside. Adorable. Love those Shades of Green gems. All right, so now we've made our 2 different styles of tent cards that, you know, you can change up the orientation as long as they fit within your envelope that you're using. So by using the envelope as our guide, that one fits in like nicely. And then so does the one using our everyday arches. Oh my gosh. Just kind of a fun mix-up of the layout, and they both stand up so prettily for when your recipient gets them at home. All right, that's our class here for today. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make the tent cards, or maybe, you know, reminding you that you can make tent cards. And as always, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. If there's anything in this video that you liked, please do give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and if you want to get to know me a little more and want to subscribe to my email list, the link is below there. On my email newsletters, you get information about my classes, Stampin' Up! Specials, my personal specials. You get reminders about the video projects that I do. So if you want to, please sign up and we can interact a little more. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.